Best of r/entitled parents episode 147. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. I give permission for this to be used by anyone. Trigger warning, attempted violence and verbal abuse. Long ago, 1985 or 86, when I was about 15 or 16, I'm female BTW. I just returned from a 10-day camping trip with cousins. The moment I came through the door and dropped my gear, my mom, who usually wasn't too bad but had become lazy, mean and entitled of late, demanded I clean up a mess that she'd made, and left, while I'd been gone. The mess in question was the kitchen. Lots of empty pet food cans on tables and in the sink, full garbage, crumbs and spatters of who knows what everywhere, filthy, unswept floor, pots full of old, stinking, moldy food on the stove, sink and table, plus one full, stinky litter box in the bathroom. It looked like the moment I'd left, Mom had just stopped cleaning and had even added onto the mess. It was revolting. Note, I wasn't a lazy kid. I learned long ago to do my own laundry. I cleaned my room, swept, mopped and vacuumed the house, cooked and did dishes. I even did yard work. I'd only just come home, was tired and wanted to relax a bit, yet somehow Mom expected me to clean up the toxic waste dump that was now our kitchen? No way. I was disgusted and flat out refused to clean up a big ass mess that clearly wasn't mine. If you're wondering where my dad was, had been working swing shift and overtime and had been helping out my granny, so hadn't been home much. Well, Mom totally lost it. She began screaming at me incoherently and following me around the house, then cornering me in my room, rant screaming / demanding that I do my fucking job. I angrily told her that's not my mess. It's yours. I haven't been home in 3 weeks, so how is it my responsibility? At this, Mom started shrieking, which was impressive for an asthmatic, throwing things, mostly mine, around telling me that she wished she'd aborted me, then going into disgusting, graphic detail about that and calling me all kinds of horrid stuff. It was like she was possessed by an asshole. I just looked at her as she screamed, ranted and threw my stuff around, rage, pain and anguish filling my chest. I was so hurt by her cruel words. Then Mom had an error in judgment. She tried to hit me. I saw her fist headed towards my face, but because I had good reflexes and was strong, Mom was nearly 60 and not as strong. I grabbed her wrist, stopping her fist from connecting with my head. As I firmly held her wrist, I looked her dead in the eye and said, "If you ever try to hit me again, I'll knock you on your ass, pack my shit and go live with my aunt, dad's sister. Now get out of my room." I released her wrist, pushed her out, then closed and locked my door. I started crying. Note, I honestly had no intention of hitting or hurting my mom. I was even careful not to squeeze her wrist too tight, but I wanted to make it clear I wouldn't let her beat on me, ever. The worst I would have done was push her onto a bed or chair if she went for me again. Well, Mom wasn't done. She spent the next 30 or so minutes banging and kicking on my door, shrieking obscenities, threatening to call the cops and repeating how she wished she'd aborted me. I don't know how long she banged on my door, because I grabbed my coat, my backpack, what little money I had and jumped out my window. I was on the lowest floor. I was crying the whole time. I took a bus to my older brother's workplace, but they'd closed early and he didn't answer his home phone. Tired and upset, I made my way to a cafe, ordered a hot tea, then when I was calm enough, found a payphone and called my dad at work. When I told him what had happened, he immediately came and got me. On the ride home, he asked me for every detail. When I finished, he was crying. He rarely cried, and apologizing to me. I told him he wasn't the one who needed to apologize. He told me he didn't know why she was doing this to me. Honestly, neither did I, other than she was pissed off that I wouldn't mindless obey her, and that had sorted out. When we got home, I went back to my room, relocking the door, and watched a video cassette. Yes, I'm old. While Dad went upstairs to confront Mom, I could hear their yelling through the ceiling, trying to defend her actions and Dad just cutting her off and telling her off, calling her a nasty bitch for what she'd said to her youngest child. In the end, Dad made Mom clean up the entire kitchen, threatening to cut up all her credit cards and move his money to a different bank account. She never apologized and I refused to speak to her for about 2 or 3 months. We continued to bump heads, mostly about her spending habits, animal hoarding and how she treated my dad, until, at 20, I moved out and got married. My mom had issues, no doubt about it, and most of her entitled nastiness was aimed at my dad. But she wasn't all bad and, for the most part, had been a good mom and taught me a lot. It wasn't until she got older that she became so horrid. I honestly believe she was a product of her time. She was born in 1927 or 1929, when men were expected to work and women were expected to stay home, tend the house, have kids and spend hubby's money. Which she did, minus the house tending. She was a horrible housekeeper. I never agreed with that attitude. Seeking a more balanced relationship, rather than one where I relied on my husband, I prefer working and sharing in the financial burden, rather than being the burden. Thank you. Next. 8. Gonna apologize for bad formatting. I'm on mobile. English is my first language, so this happened earlier today and it's still pissing my off. Evil ek. Evil but in a smaller body F. Friend me. Op NP. Nice parent NK. Nice kid. So me and my friend are out and about, on a walk through one of the big parks in my city. We're hanging out, being careful to practice social distancing when we look ahead to the playground and see a few kids playing, and one tiny asshole slapping them in the back of the head. The moms and dads of the kids getting whacked look understandably annoyed and seem to be staring at one mom, who is sitting there, on her phone. We continued walking until we were in a few meters of the playground. We were gonna turn back when all of a sudden, our little evil friend approached us. Hey, let's play. I wanna be the king. Me, sorry pal, we're adults and don't really want to. The kid reaches just barely high enough to whack me in the face. Me, what the fuck? April Fool's bitch. Maybe play with me next time. Dude, you think cause it's April Fool's you can do whatever the hell you want? It's at this moment that the mom on her phone finally looks up. It took her a few seconds to find her kid, and yells, Ek, get back here. These pedos probably have corona, and you, get the fuck away from my child. Me, mom your child just slapped me across the face. So what? You're a pedo so you deserve it, and didn't you hear it's April Fool's? It's just a joke. So does that mean if we broke the little asshole's legs it would be just a joke? Then looked to the angry parents who were now casually observing the situation. You heard that? He's gonna hurt my kid. Call the police. NP, maybe you should teach your child not to touch people. It's just a joke. Ek by this point has returned to taking out his spoiledness on the other children. NP, okay then, NK, get over here. Me and F were mostly out of the picture by this point. We were just watching the fire. NP whispered something to NK and then NK walked away. We watched him approach Ek, and Ek slapped him again, and yelled out April Fool's bitch. The kid just stood there for a second, and then punched him right in the nose. The kid fell back and started wailing, and M walked over, ready to counter-strike with a classic bitch slap when suddenly the kid said, NK, April Fool's, bitch. And then he walked away. Me and F walked off, and a few minutes later, we saw M walking along, dragging her brat kid, who was still crying, along with her. Happy April Fool's Day, kids. TLDR. Kid thinks that violence is okay if it's April Fool's, gets a taste of his own medicine. Thank you. Next. In my country, we're practicing safe distancing due to the virus, meaning you should try to be 1 meter apart from each other at all times. In light of this, some malls are putting up signs to mark where you should stand. There are also signs informing you that you may be fined if you do not adhere to the directive. I was taking the lift and was standing within the marked area. I was one of the last to enter so I was standing near the doors. Lift is almost full with one slot left. Doors open and EM stands outside with her child. EM enters the lift, notice the markings and starts to speak pretty loudly. EM, oh god these markings. There's clearly so much space in the lift. We're in such a hurry. Points at me. EM, why don't you take the escalator and let those who need it take the lift? You can walk right? Can't you see I'm in a hurry? Me, I'm sorry but I need to get to the 5th floor and that's not accessible by the escalator. EM, you can walk there from the stairs. Come on, don't make everyone wait for you. Me, getting a little annoyed. You can wait for the next lift instead of asking people to get out. PFFT. I have no time for this. Speaks to child. Come baby, let's go. Besides, if we get fined it's his fault for not getting out. Annoyed glares are exchanged throughout the ride on the lift. I was really hoping someone would come in and fine EM. Thank you. Next. This was way before the current quarantine, so don't get mad at me. EM equals entitled mom. EC equals entitled child. E equals me. A bit of information before I start. I am Russian. I was born in Russia. I speak fluent Russian. I own a pair of Astro A38s, Bluetooth headphones. So, I was on my way to a friend's house, and I decided to take the bus. Terrible idea, as I hate being around other people that I don't know. EC, probably around 7, and EM were sitting in the seat across from me, and I tried not to pay too much attention to them. I must have had my music a bit too loud, and caught the attention of EC. He looks at me, almost like a possessed doll snaps its neck at a small child in a horror movie. He obviously can only hear that there is some sort of music, but he wouldn't want it if he knew what I was listening to. I am a drummer, and I listen to metal music. I am also very protective of my stuff. EC, I want music. Me, sorry kid, not gonna give you my headphones. Now, EC starts crying, basically bawling. That caught the attention of EM, a hulking piece of something. EM, can you please lend him your headphones? He really likes music, and he's only a boy, he won't do anything. Me, sorry, number. They are expensive and the music isn't suitable for children. I tried not to be rude, as I didn't want to cause a scene. Obviously, she didn't care, as she continued to pester me. Meanwhile, the little shitbag continues to get louder and louder with each choked cry. EM, please give him your headphones. She seemed to be getting short on her temper. I was starting to get annoyed, so I packed them away in their protective case. This case was black and kinda looks like a gun cast to be completely honest. This angered EM. EM, give me your headphones. She was starting to sound more and more commanding as time went on. Me, no. I start to realize what might happen, and thought about standing up, but didn't, as I didn't want to cause a scene. And then, the inevitable happened. EM, under her breath, then I'll just have to take them from you. She proceeds to, basically, lunge at me, trying to grab my bag. Me, trying to stop her restraining me. Ostav maya na cyrilligletove pokoi. Translation, leave me alone. Ostav mena v pokoi. EM, did you just speak Slavic? I think looking back at this she was actually brain dead. She then starts to scream that I am here without a passport and that I am a spy for the Russian government, trying to stop me from getting off of the bus, but all that does is make people stare at her. I ran off of the bus, nearly about to cry at this point, and thought about going to the police, but there was no point, as I couldn't remember her face that well. Astro Gaming doesn't produce the A38 Bluetooth gaming headset anymore, although you can probably find them on a reselling website like eBay or something like that. I do recommend their line of A40 headsets. Oh, the nerve of some people. Please respect the Russian people. The government and the people are completely different. Thank you. Next. So me, Op, and my friend, F, were out riding and we were on the sidewalk jumping from in and out of the street. His kids were out riding and they were a lot you get than us. We went past them. F was on the road and I was on the sidewalk, and we got to the sidewalk and went back to do it again. When we went back he stopped us and told us to stop riding in the grass, but he sounded so drunk we could not understand him. So I kept asking what he had said. Then he started to yell at us. He called us related for jumping on the road, so I said that we look before we jump, and this made him more mad. He told us we need to watch out for his daughter and to get off the sidewalk when she was out there, which we were nowhere near when we went past. So my friend said there was also much we can do. We had BMX bikes with very big handlebars. My friend said that the sidewalk was only so big. He said he was not scared to come out there and whip our fucking ass. He said we will be lying on the ground with a black eye and a busted lip. So I said that it was assault, and he said I do not give a fuck. So my friend went to say something and he told him to shut his fuck cocksucker. We were trying so hard not to laugh, and we are both boys. I am 14, he is 13. He went on about this, so we left him just cause we kept going past his house, so when I went to leave I had to go past his house and he ran out and grabbed my bike and pushed me off. So I yelled, "Give it fucking back." He said, "Tell it to the cops." So the police roll up and it is my school resource officer. So we tell her the story. He said that we pushed his kids off her bike and ran. She did not believe cussy kids said no they did not touch me, and she took my bike back, asked us if we wanted to press charges. We said no, all we want is him to leave us alone, and he did. That is the end. I just got home after this and I do not know what to do. Also it is funny because this is the first time we ever met the guy. Hope you find this r/. Thank you. Next. Me, store manager. S, staff member working. EM, entitled mom. K, entitled kid. I was working as a store manager for a medium dress for less retail store. We carried mostly clothing and home goods. Due to being short on managers, I was closing the store that day and had to open the next day. 8:45 p.m. Announcement. The store will close in 15 minutes. Please make your way to checkout. Customers started heading up to the front. 8:55 p.m. I notice one lady with her daughter is still shopping with a basket overflowing with items. Announcement. The store will close in 5 minutes. Please make your way to checkout. 9 p.m. She is still shopping. Announcement. The store is now closed. Please make your way to checkout. The lady started to walk toward the front. To check out, I assumed. I had to wait for her to check out before I could close out the registers and figure out the money for the day. So while waiting I went to the office to quickly send some emails. At around 9:10 p.m. I walked up to the registers and began to close the registers. I finished up quickly in about 5 minutes. I quickly put the money back in the safe and walked out. Walking by the fitting room I hear voices inside. There were only 2 other employees on the sales floor and I could see them both straightening items. The fitting room attendant was sorting clothes to go back to the sales floor. Is somebody in the fitting rooms? I asked Tess. Yeah, I think so. I told her that we were closing. She responded. Hello, the store is now closed. We are getting ready to lock up soon. We open at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I hollered back into the fitting rooms. Soon after, a very entitled lady and her daughter came out with a lot of items, picked up her basket of stuff, and said she was ready to check out. I am sorry, but the store closed almost 20 minutes ago. We are open in the morning. I'll let her know. No, my daughter and I need to buy all this right now, EM declared to me. That is not possible. The registers are closed and we are about ready to head home and shut down the store, I politely told them. That is bullshit. They always let me shop at this time. This is unacceptable. She yelled at me. The store is closed. You can come in the morning to shop if you would like, I responded assertively. Fine. Then I demand you hold all of this for me until the morning. I will be back when the store opens to get it, she told me. Now, due to us being a discount type store, we do not hold items, as we do not regularly get the same items. It is a company policy. I am sorry, but due to corporate policy, we are unable to hold your items. We open at 9 tomorrow and if you are here then I am sure they will still be here, I reminded her. What? No, these are my items, she demanded. They are the store's items right now, but tomorrow morning they could be yours. I let her know. Now I need you to please leave. My staff and I would like to go home. This is f***ing stupid, and you are awful. These items will be waiting for me here tomorrow and I demand to have your store manager waiting so I can tell him about how horrible and stupid you are. I will be here at 9, she told me. The store manager will be here in the morning, I told her. Smiling politely, EM stormed out, K in hand, grumbling and griping the whole time. It was late, and we were all tired. So we all got our stuff ready, armed, and left the store. I get there before any staff normally to get the money ready for the day, along with my paperwork while it was quiet. I made sure to spend the extra time that morning to put the basket of items away on the shelves and racks, spread through the store. Petty, I know, but it felt amazing knowing she might come in. At about 11 a.m. I was up near the front talking to the morning staff and I saw EM storm in, already looking mad. I watch her not even look at us and walk straight to the fitting room. Shortly I get a call on my earpiece from the fitting room attendant that a customer is asking for me. I stroll back, a professional look on my face, calmly ready for the storm. I get back there and EM looks mad. She sees me and says no. I asked for the store manager, not some supervisor. Mom, he is the store manager, told EM. She gasped in anger. How dare you put my things back? I told you I was coming back for them, she said to me, her face now red. And I'll let you know last night that we cannot hold items due to policy. It has to do with the nature of our store, I informed her. So where are my items now? They better all be here still. I told you I was coming back, she demanded. The retail merchandise is all on the sales floor. All unpurchased items get put back, I said. I can assure you they were here when we opened, but I do not know about now. EM huffed and started walking around, stomping and huffing. She ended up finding some of what she had from before but made sure to make comments to the cashier about how she could not find all of her items and she would never be coming here again. If only right. I did see her other times, but she went out of her way to never talk to me or acknowledge me, which was fine. Thank you. Next. I recently made a post about a cat killing my bunny. Go check it out. I'm not sure how to set a link. Floppy has been doing great. She was uterine tumor free last month and is recovering. There have been a lot of people telling me that it's a bad idea to leave an open playpen outside. My bunnies are free roam, and every day I give them an hour of supervised playtime. This one occasion, I forgot to bring out their food, so I just went inside and brought out the bowls. EK was waiting behind the fence, because he wanted to play with the bunnies. I do not blame EK, but I do blame EM. She did not educate her children on how to properly treat animals. I volunteered at a rabbit shelter, and there are so many parents that knew nothing. We required them to sit through a 20-minute lesson on how to care for rabbits if they never had one before. EM clearly didn't teach her kids on how to care for animals, because EK was trying to carry an adult cat, and it clearly did not want to be held. On another note, Floppy has been in a traumatic state. She was best friends with Bun. They went to 4-H fairs together. One best duo at the Hot Air Balloon Festival when I went up to NJ. Go there for it in August. Somerville or Somerset. I don't remember. I am looking for a friend for Floppy right now and helping her mourn Bun, who was there for me forever. She was there when I got asked to my senior prom, when my brother got married, and when I moved into my first apartment. I am right now working with lawyers to hit EM with a big lawsuit, and she won't ever try to blame something on me again. My little Bun, you will never be forgotten. R.I.P.